Hi, Robin with Oxy-Dry, and today is a Sunday, and I did a commercial job yesterday, so I just pulled everything out of the van here and emptied the tank on my Hawk 2-speed, and I put my extra solution into my jug over there. I'll be able to use it on the road. And loading up a few things. I got my little buddy Billy here. Hey, Billy. Say hello to the nice people. Billy? Say hello. There. Yeah, he's a good guy. He'd be my little buddy today. Then my wife went out, much to his disappointment, and she's going to go and do a little bit of shopping. And so we're just doing some stuff. And if you've seen my videos in the past, you may have noticed when I've showed the outside here, there's these juniper bushes that were right over there. There's still some over here. We're actually getting all of this taken out. It goes around the corner and down 50 foot or so. Getting that all taken out. We're gonna go with the xeriscape and rocks, kind of like what they got over in the opposite corner over there. So I decided I didn't want to do that. Ever try taking those things out? Oh, what a nightmare. Anyway, they're coming back on Monday to finish it off. But today, we're going to deal with something on the Oreck here that as you use them, particularly as you go over the bullnose on the steps, you probably notice that they, after a while, they start to get kind of a rattle. Let me grab a bigger one here. And I'll show you why that is, and I'll show you a real simple little fix. So I guess we'll call this a little bit of maintenance on the Oreck. So this is my newer one. My older one is actually sitting right there. That thing's like 4 years old, and it's done a lot of carpet. A lot of steps mostly is what I mostly used it on. I use Orecs on, and other than I've never replaced anything on it, but I did have to get the micro switch, or we call it a micro switch, the relay switch fixed on that by took it to a vacuum store, and they rather than replace the switch, they just opened it up and filed the contact points in there, put it back together. It's been fine ever since. But while it was getting repaired, I ordered up this new one, and so that's all that I've done. And I know some guys say these things don't last, but you know, that one over there is a few years old. It's doing fine, but it did have this rattly noise that was going on. This one it was not that old, and the bearing started making a little bit of noise. So I did a video some time ago where I showed replacing this bearing, which was not hard and not expensive. I think it was 20 bucks. I just went and bought a bearing from a car parts, Lord Co, I guess it was, store. So trying to think, do I have to get in there? I don't think I do, but I just wanted to show you this for those of you who've never seen the inside of the Oreck here. I'll show you where the micro switch is. You know what? Really not a good idea to use a plumbing tool if you can avoid it. I think that it's what is that? 8mm. Oh, that's the one. There you go. Ideally, you want to use an actual spanner if you can. You're far less likely to end up stripping a bolt or nut. So we'll pull that off. and that comes out. Don't lose that little washer, the little star washer there. And then this lifts off, and there's the micro switch. So you can replace these, and I looked online, and there's a part number on here. And there it is. Anyway, so if you look up, what would you call it now? Relay switch, and this part number, you'll probably find it. But you can open them up. I never did. Obviously, you'd have to probably pull it off by drilling out the rivets, I guess. But apparently they did pull it apart on the other machine, and we're able to fix it. Now, I had a wire break just inside over here on this machine, because as you're using it, particularly as you go back and forth over the bullnose, the wire will stress, and eventually it may break it. So when I repaired it, I did put these bayonet connectors in here. So that wasn't the original way it was, but I did that and basically rewired it. But let's go on to the noisy issue here that happens. You're getting a rattle, and the rattle is caused by right over here. It's all about this, where the handle attaches, and we've got kind of a shoulder holds the pin there. Put that over there. We'll open this up, and this pulls that off, and there it is. So what's happening is you start getting this starts to wear. Now you could probably replace this, actually, probably pretty easily. In fact, it's probably just nylon. You know what, I bet you could get away with turning it over and it would last to the longer too. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. This is actually, I believe it's actually a little bit different than my older machine. So we're going to take a look at that in a sec, because I don't quite remember it like that. But anyway, so I'm just going to turn it over and put it back together. But actually, I'm going to take the other side apart first, because I'm just wanting to double check something else. But you can see, oh yeah, here we go. You see this pin? This pin moves out. Ah, that's what it was. Now I remember. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we'll open this one up over here. You notice how the pin is actually not actually in place completely. Over on this side, see, I pushed it out, and now it's fully in there. And over on this side, it's pulled in, and I think that's actually part of the issue that's going on. I think it's more or less, supposed to more or less stay there, but as it vibrates over the, use of it, I think it kind of goes out of position. So, and again, we'll take a look at this nylon. You see how worn it is there? And that gives it more play. So I'm just going to flip it over. So I'm going to get some more use out of it. But this piece of plastic, you could go to a plastic shop and you could replace this easily. You could, yeah, I think you'd want to put plastic in there. it'll wear. You could probably get them to make you a piece with maybe out of Teflon, but it lasts a while. It's easy to replace this anyway. So I'm gonna put that aside. Not a big deal. For the amount of use, I use this thing virtually every day because I'm doing steps on almost all my jobs. So I'm going to reposition this. See how it's slid over, so it's not really in here all the way properly. It should be there. So what I'm going to do, I think there's actually a nylon bushing in there as well, but I'm not going to. Just going to get this some junk in here. Going to clean it out of there a little bit. Did that work? I think it did. Okay, and I'm just going to double check what's going on this side. See, there's a little bit of gunk in there. I'd have to pull the motor out, which isn't hard to do. Just undo these 4 bolts to pull the motor out, and I could really get at it. But I don't need to do that, I don't think. So I got the gunk out of there. See, there's a bushing in there, but what I'm gonna do, and I did this to my other machine, and I've used it since, and it has stood up pretty well. Although I don't use it very much anymore, but I have a simple, temporary, and it'll last quite a bit longer fix. Goop is wonderful, and I'll show you what I'm going to do. Take the goop, and I'm going to apply the goop right there. Then I'm just going to slide the pin back. And that will hold that really well, because goop is actually pretty darn good stuff. It's not exactly a permanent thing, because you can peel it off if you need to. But it does really work well. It's quite strong. I use it for all kinds of things. So we'll do this over on the other side. And after I get this all, oops, get rid of that, all together here. Yeah, that's looking good. I'll have to let it set up for a little bit of time. It sets up pretty quick, within an hour or two. Actually, it pretty much goes pretty hard. It's sort of a rubber, it's like a rubber glue actually. And I'll put in the comments just how much quieter it is. I won't be recording that today anyway, but when I write up the when I post this video, I'll have tried it out by then, and I'll let you know just how much quieter it is. I'm sure it'll be just fine with the flip. Oops, I just dropped my screw. Oh, why don't you hate that when you do that? Oh, there it is. Okay. So this So I'll show you again. All I did is I turned this over. You can see how this is wearing. This is a wear point. So turned it over, so it'll wear over on this side now. And I could even actually spin this around if I needed to and just drill another hole. Could do that too. You can get a lot of life out of that then, couldn't you? And I'll put a little bit of, I have some synthetic grease here, and I'll just put a little dab on here. A little dab will do you, right? So, oops. Did I just do that wrong? No, I did it good. Okay. So we'll stick that back in there. This, I guess what I'm seeing is that this sort of acts like a spring. That's how that's working. Although I think that's what it does. It puts a bit of tension. That's kind of the lock, I think, when you put it in the upright position. So that's why as it gets older, it no longer will hold in the upright position as well. That's primarily what that's doing. And this is over here. A little bit of grease. Put that back. Now, I'm just thinking right now of that. See, one of the things that I do is every weekend, for sure, I do have a consistent habit of making sure my equipment's all in great operating condition. I do maintenance and clean things and make sure everything's working right. Notice I put a bit of lube on the synthetic grease on this. I don't know what we call that. Anyway, that's the pin moves back and forth across there, so that's why I put the grease, a little bit of synthetic grease there. But every weekend I go through the van. I make sure that my solutions are stocked up. I make sure that my spotter bottles are ready to go. I make sure that I clean, keep the equipment clean, and anything that needs any repair, because things do break. Where maybe you need to replace a plug or different things, which is what you've got to do to keep your business going efficiently and smoothly. And the last thing you want is to be out on the job and discover that because you didn't bother just taking those few minutes on the weekend, you're out, half an hour away from where everything is at home, and you got to replace or repair or restock something. And so my point is, make sure that you're organized, especially if you're an owner operator, because it all relies on you. And you don't want to be wasting your time. So make sure that's snug. Don't overdo it, because this is aluminum. You can strip aluminum very easily. Just remember that. You don't reef on it. You don't need to. Okay, that's good. Now that's going to be just fine. See, these screws didn't come out loose. So they did actually on my other one. I think they did actually come a bit loose. So, little trick, just to be safe, I'm going to put a bit of goop right there. And that'll come off easily when I want it to. So don't, there's just a dab of goop there. That'll hold those screws. They won't back off, ever. But I can pull them out of there when I need to, no problem. So I'll just, I'll put this back together. And after it dries, I'll give it a try. I'll do that in a couple hours. I want to make sure it's bone dry. So anyway, that's it. Little simple maintenance tip for you for your Oreck machine. These motors actually are really good, well-made motors. Like you can tell that they're not cheap. Good, solid, very nicely sized bearing. That's the same size bearing as I have on my Orbot and on my Orbitech. So it's not a wimpy built machine. But the weak point is, most people who have them fail, is because that switch under, that's it. Usually that's the only reason. And then watch out for these, where the handle attaches, and it starts to rattle because of that. So now you know, and now you can see a pretty simple fix and a maintenance, and so that'll help you out. So hope give you some useful information, and thank you for watching, and have a good day.